Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Hsieh, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the
Every
field.
product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son, major retailers.
Yeah.
Check. We think this is cool. Is this cool?
The thing with Amazon is just it become more and more complicated over the years.
Yeah, maybe you can also consider to create more online resources.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed, where we unwrap the secret behind successful toys brand and the toy industry. I'm happy to announce that we have Jim, the VP of E-Blox, joining us today. And today we'll be talking about the world of educational toy, especially the importance of STEM education and innovative toys product that E-Blox offer. Thank you for joining us on the interview today, Jim.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So can you first kind of share your background? How do you got into the toys industry? And so the audience can kind of learn more about you.
Yeah. So I'm Jim. I'm the VP and CTO for E-Blox. And, growing up, I'll have to admit, I never thought I'd be working in the toy industry. I did always think I'd be an engineer, though. I loved math. I loved all the sciences. And, then growing up, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. So I went into electrical engineering at Purdue University. Actually, got my bachelor's, master's, and PhD at Purdue in electrical engineering. And I had a long career first in the wireless industry, designing, developing 2G, believe it or not, there were 2G wireless systems way back one day, all the way up through the 5G that we have today. Yes. But while I was doing this, my brother and my father were in a family business that was developing educational toys, and they were having a little bit too much fun without me. So about 10 years ago, I decided to use my electrical engineering background to help them in the educational toy business. And then we actually launched our vision of E-Blox around 7 to 8 years ago.
I see. Can you share the E-Blox's mission and how is it different than all the other educational toys in the market?
Yeah. So, our mission at E-Blox is to design and develop fun, educational toy products that teach STEM and STEAM in a learn by building approach, where we're trying to get kids of all ages, but particularly K through 12, excited about STEM and the possibility of pursuing STEM careers, and enabling them, giving them the right background to pursue STEM careers. So that's really our mission here, and we do that by taking one of the greatest toys ever, Lego. I think everybody knows Lego. And making it electronic, making it more educational, and enhancing the fun. And so those are the 3 E's that become E-Blox: the electronic, educational, and enhanced fun with E-Blox. And so I can give you, some examples of the kind of things we do. Like here, these are sort of Duplo size brick parts, where we embed electronics into them. And so as you're building, you're actually building a circuit. In this case, you build a circuit that's a wake-up alarm, where you hide this little photo LED, and then when the sun comes in, it wakes you up.
Oh, okay.
A wake-up alarm. So you're always building something fun, but you're learning about the electronics as you build.
What is the age group that you are usually aiming for the product?
Yeah, so we have products that span anywhere from even 3 years old and up to, with our products, you never outgrow this, but we have some that are kind of focused for 3 and up, some that are for 5 and up, and some that are for 8 and up. But even, a lot of our products are great for even in the high school ages, where you have STEM labs or Lego labs, integrating things that enable you to add lights, sounds, and motion to whatever you're building in your robotics lab.
Does your product also have a coding component to it as well?
Not yet. Okay, right now we're more focused on building the circuits, okay,
Yeah.
and learning about how the different components in circuitry work.
Mhm.
The how you build open, closed loop, series, parallel circuits. We do get into the LEDs, the motors, resistors, capacitors, transistors. So it's more about the electronic components and teaching
Mm,
how electronics works, and
yeah.
and as well how those things that you build, how those circuits apply to the real world.
Got it. Okay. Okay. What inspired you to create this whole product line?
Yeah, so as you can tell, I'm really passionate about STEM, and
Yeah.
we live in a very technical world. It's getting more technical every day, and
Mhm.
the ramifications of that is that the job markets in the STEM areas are growing much faster than
Mhm.
in the non-STEM areas. You can just look on
Sure.
the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which shows over the last few years, STEM jobs have been growing 4 times faster than non-STEM jobs, and that's
Mhm.
actually projected to continue over the next 8 to 10 years.
Mhm.
And even though the statistics do show that kids these days are twice as likely to pursue STEM careers as their parents, that's still not enough when jobs are growing 4 times as fast. And
Yeah.
so there's actually some worry that 2, 3 years from now there may be millions of unfulfilled STEM jobs in the world, particularly in the U.S. And
Mhm.
so, we really, what motivated us was really to get kids excited at a young age about STEM, introduce them to STEM, show
Mhm.
them that it's fun, and that, look, I'm building toys, and that's a STEM
Mm,
job. Okay. So,
yeah.
get kids excited about it, and hopefully that'll encourage them to pursue STEM careers.
Yes, and is it a little bit more interactive and almost like they are playing and not like learning as much. Of course, you want to play and learn at the same time, but can you also talk about how when you're designing different product in the current toy line, how do you try to like what is your approach to integrate more and more of the STEM education into the product design itself?
Yes. So one of the nice things about being brick based, in a construction set, is that inherently you're learning. Okay, because with our products, most of them, you have to build the circuit right to get it
Mm,
to work.
okay.
And when it doesn't work, that's actually when you're learning. You're learning, oh, like
Okay.
maybe you put the
Yeah.
LED in backwards and you're like, why isn't
Mm,
this working? And then you
yeah.
figure out, oh, it was in backward. And now you've learned that LEDs only let current flow in one direction. So the
Okay.
product itself is inherently educational, and everything we build is going to, have that kind of educational value. But
Hmm.
in addition to that, to make it even more educational, particularly for schools and stuff, we developed animated online curriculum.
Mm,
Again, fun, okay, where it's like it's animated. There's a character in there who is telling you the educational aspects, and then after we give you a little bit of education, we have you actually build something. So like maybe
mm,
we're giving you a lesson on series versus parallel circuits, okay, and
mm,
we
okay.
show you when you put two LEDs one after the other, that's series, versus when they're both connected directly to the battery, that's parallel. Then
Yeah.
we actually have you, build something with our products to actually see it, because that's where when you're actually hands-on building a series circuit and building a parallel circuit, that's where the learning really comes in. And then even beyond that, well, once we kind of introduce you to that, have you build that and show you how to build that, then we have you do a STEAM project where maybe we'll ask you to do 3 LEDs in series. How would you do
Oh,
like
okay.
you got to now really think through, or maybe how would you do 2 LEDs in parallel and then in series with a third one, and you have to think through it and do it. So that's where the STEAM aspect comes in, and that's really where the true learning comes
Mm,
in, if you really grasp the idea of series versus parallel circuits,
I
and then
see.
blend
Okay.
it with a quiz. And so, we're really trying to help the teachers and the students, teach and learn with our products.
Oh, okay. So that's also encouraging a lot of creative thinkings and also thinking outside of the box. By after you master the foundation, how can you apply those foundation into
Exactly.
your own kind of
That's
circuit
we
design?
give you the left side of the brain first, but then we're exercising the right side of your brain next.
Yeah, I see. I
Exactly.
see. And on the business aspect, can you also share some of the challenge you have faced over the years as you're trying to build and also grow E-Blox as a toy company, and how do you overcome them?
Yeah. So I feel like it's always the elephant in the room, the answer to this question, because the biggest challenge we've had is the big COVID, COVID, right? I mean, that was
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think in most people's lives the biggest challenge
sure,
for
yeah,
many industries. Certainly for us,
yeah,
one of the big things that led to in the educational industry, because our product, a construction set, we sold a lot to schools, these class sets where kids,
yeah,
share the product. They're all grabbing, building stuff and sharing the parts and everything. And you can imagine what a nightmare that is for COVID, right? It's
yeah. I couldn't really do anything.
trying to get kids away from each other and not touching the same thing. So that was a huge challenge for us. That led to us really saying, okay, we need to design our products so that they can be individually based too. Okay.
Mm,
So we came up with, instead of class sets, we also now offer student sets, which is just
mhm,
one product, but still
mhm.
comes with that extra curriculum.
Yeah,
And then it also drove us to do this animated online curriculum that could be
mhm.
virtual, because a lot of, during COVID, kids were at
Everything
home.
is virtual. Yes,
And
yeah,
so now you could actually offer them an individual product. They could have it at home, and the teachers could still be streaming this curriculum and working with them. And so those were some of the things we did to kind of overcome the challenges of COVID in the educational space. In the
mhm.
retail space, the challenge we had was that our stores were closing down and they couldn't
Yeah,
be open. So
that
they had to
too.
go strictly online and curbside pickup and things like that. So, we had to adjust to help them by doing things like drop ship capabilities, maybe offering to them offering our products online without having
Mhm.
to buy it up front. And then when you get orders, we can either drop ship it to your customers or drop ship it to you. And our local ones, we even, would drive it there. I mean,
Oh, wow. Okay.
we had to adjust, okay, to really help
Yeah.
our customers get through that. Fortunately, they've been able to get back to just in store, and we that's we mainly do drop ship for just distributors now. But when
Mhm.
during those challenging times, we had to do what we had to do to help our customers.
Yeah, for even for my own toy brand during COVID, it was really bad for us because we are also mainly targeting school with like the sensory toys that we design.
Right.
I was actually on the edge of bankruptcy back 2 years ago. It was really bad.
It
If-
was
yeah,
that was a challenge for everybody, I'm sure.
yeah. I was lucky enough. I got some like SBA loan to kind of
Right.
uh,
That did
ride
help.
ride the wave. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be maybe holding a sign next to the freeway. Because I'm
I
homeless.
hear
So,
you.
yeah. So that's definitely a huge challenge. But as part of your role as a VP and CTO of E-Blox, what are some of your primary responsibilities? Are you also in charge of designing the product itself as well?
Yeah, so I mean, we are a small business, so I have a lot of responsibilities. But
Mm,
yes, one of the main thing is in working with through research and engineering team to design and develop new ideas, new
mhm.
products,
Yeah,
prototype them. You know, look at how we can cost reduce them, but keep them high quality. Make
yeah,
sure they're safe. Okay, they have to pass CP, SIA safety tests, all of that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then work with our manufacturing team to then make that into a commercial product. That is
mm,
definitely one of my main roles. And, we are inventors here at E-Blox, so we're constantly trying to come out with new products every year that are even more fun and engaging and teaching different areas of STEM. So
mhm.
that is definitely one of my roles. But also, because I do that design and development, I really do understand our products the best. I do support a lot of trade shows. Okay, I have to support the technical sales aspects of our
Sure, of
products, and
course.
so trade shows, public shows, I'm interacting with the customers a lot.
Mhm.
The end customers at public shows, but
Yeah,
also at trade shows with our retailers, with the schools. Whether it's through Toy Fair in New York City or Astra with the retailers, and then educational like NSTA. I go there, and I'm really trying to build those relationships as well as grow our brand. That's an important responsibility that I have.
and one of the question I have, because just like you, we are also really trying to go after the educational, the school as a toy brand, because we also do kind of sensory slash educational toy. What is the strategy that's working well for your toy brand as when you're trying to get into the school market?
Yeah, so one of the things is that there are these requirements, these called the next generation science standards requirements. And so when we develop our curriculum, we do actually develop tables that show how the different lesson plans meet those NGSS requirements. And a lot of times the teachers really need that in order to get, let's say, grants and stuff, to need to be able to show that that what they're purchasing with that grant is meeting the NGSS requirements. And there's other requirements too, like there's ones called TEKS in Texas, the Texas requirements. And so we're working on developing tables for that too. And so I think that's a key component, because lots of teachers will say, I love this product, but I have to get a grant in order to get it. And in order to get a grant, I got to be able to show that it meets the NGSS or text.
I'm not as familiar with those requirements. Can you, for the audience or the listener that's also not familiar with those, can you kind of have a short explanation on what is?
Yeah, I mean, if you just search for next generation science standards, it's a published. You can access it. You don't have to purchase or anything. And they actually list a set of requirements, different grade levels. It goes from K up through like 6th grade, and it covers all areas. I mean, we only cover part of that. Okay, in some of the there's a lot of aspects where they want kids to learn about forces and motors and gears and stuff, and so our stuff's perfect for that. But there's a lot about environmental science and biology and all of that stuff. I mean, it covers a wide area of everything in the sciences.
Okay. Oh, the science. Okay, got it.
It's all about the science.
Science. Okay.
But our stuff covers in the areas of physics and electronics and stuff like that. We cover a lot of those requirements that they're looking for in that standard.
What is a typical school? Is it like elementary school, or is it more geared toward middle school that you're serving?
I would say our sweet spot is the K through 6. Okay. That's really where kids are getting introduced to electronics, and our stuff is perfect. Okay. But as I said, even up into the middle school and high schools, if you have robotics labs or, Lego labs, a lot of them do have just Lego labs and stuff. All of our stuff integrates with that so seamlessly, so that you can use the products and use the knowledge you used in K through 6 to now build 3D circuits with your parts and not have the need for wires anymore. Because I'll show you another one of our products.
Please do.
What we do is these are the classic size brick pieces. Okay, it's called like system brick, but they're shiny because we plate them in tin. Okay, and the tin plating makes the part conductive. And so the parts are actually acting like wires to carry power from the battery below it up through the LEDs and back to the battery. So now when you turn it on, it'll light up.
Nice.
So you're actually building 3D circuits with your parts, no wires. And now this is, just having these parts, even in a high school robotics lab, would be really cool to just add lights to the big robot you're building, right?
No, I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So for your product, I know it's very unique in its design, but what really set it apart from some of your competitor in the market?
Yeah. So again, I've mentioned it a few times, but the being brick based,
big breaks is the main
that's one thing. And not only because it integrates with Lego, but also because everybody's so familiar. All the kids are so familiar with building with bricks. Okay, they just jump in and start building so fast. So it's the familiarity aspect that really helps differentiate us. And then also, once you've built stuff with our products, it is a nice addition to be able to integrate it with whatever other Lego sets you may have. So that does differentiate us. Another thing I'd say, though, because we're still a small company, our customer service is something we take very seriously and try to differentiate ourselves. So if you have a question about a product you've bought of ours, or maybe you've lost a part or something got damaged, I mean, when you call us, we answer the phone and we talk to you. When you email us, we respond within 24 hours. Okay. I've even responded to emails on the weekend, on Saturday. And people, I responded within 3 hours on a Saturday when they had a question. And they're like, wow, I never imagined this. So I think we really want to make sure that when you buy one of our products from E-Blox, you're getting a great customer experience and you're getting the product to work and have a really great experience with it.
I see. And as the educational toy space kind of evolve over time, especially in the digital age that we all live in, what do you see the future of your toy product line go in 2024 and beyond?
Yeah. So definitely, like the virtual reality, augmented reality are, they've certainly changed the video game world.
Yeah.
Um, I can, this is down the road. This is I'm thinking down the road now, but I could definitely see the augmented reality being something we could add to our product to make it even
Oh,
cooler as an
yeah.
accessory. Like for instance, one of our products is a build your own bubble making machine. Okay.
Yeah.
So you build it and then it starts blowing bubbles like crazy. I could imagine an accessory where you put on that augmented reality headset, and instead of bubbles floating in the air, you see your favorite characters coming at you. Right?
Oh, I see. I see.
You
I
can
see.
easily see something like that, or maybe it's
Yeah.
your brother, so you can pop your brother.
Okay. I love that idea.
so,
Yeah.
so I can
I
see
see.
that, and then the other area obviously is in terms of artificial intelligence, AI, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's definitely changing the world. Certainly from the manufacturing perspectives, okay. In doing things like being able to recognize when your equipment is, maybe starting to fail and get it fixed before it actually becomes a problem. That kind of stuff in the manufacturing world, AI is huge. But we're also starting to see it in the toys, right? I mean, I've seen
Mm.
some like robots out there now that will have more intelligent conversations, with the kids, okay, through
Mhm.
AI.
Yeah.
That's already happening.
Mhm.
Um, if I think about our product, again, thinking like way out there, something I could use AI for to make our stuff even cooler. Wouldn't it be cool if, like, as you're building a circuit and maybe you built that LED in backwards, maybe, part of the circuit was a speaker and it would actually you say, why isn't this working? And it would actually explain what you did. Like, hey, check your
Oh,
LED. It
got it.
might looks like it
Yeah.
might be right. I mean, instead of
Yeah, yeah, that'd be really cool. Yes.
help,
Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
the circuit you're building actually is recognizing what you're doing and helping you along the way. I think that would be amazingly cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be really cool. And also almost have a software that you can interact while you're building and also
Right.
kind of teaching you at the same time.
I
Yeah.
mean, if I look at some of those things in terms of AR and AI, I think, that's the future. That could be the future. It may be down the road a bit, but hey, we all were there saying, hey, are we ever going to actually have a cell phone? Does anybody ever want to talk on the phone? Does anybody want data? I went through
Mhm.
that whole phase, and everything
Mhm.
seems to happen over time because you just
For
dream and
sure, for
it
sure.
can happen.
Yeah. And is there any specific like story that you'd like to share where e-blocks really make a significant impact on like a child's learning journey?
Yeah. So one story I have is my wife is a teacher, and
Mm.
actually she teaches special education. Okay, so kids, some of them are autistic, some have
Yeah.
ADHD, some have anxiety challenges,
Yeah.
and as you can imagine, with a class of those kids, sometimes it can start getting out of control. Their attention span it doesn't last, and it can get wild. And
Yeah.
she says when that starts to happen, she pulls out her E-Blox kit. It's E-Blox time, and right away, there's a lot of
Okay.
focus. There's a lot of she gets their attention. They can start playing for them. They can calm down, start playing,
I
and
see. Yeah.
and she says it's really a way to get them back centered and get through the day.
Oh, okay. It's
And
almost like a reward system, but it's educational. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and our stuff is really good for special needs. Certainly hand-eye coordination, and because a lot of it is sensory. When you build it right, it lights up, and you get a set of gratification, instant gratification with some of it, and so it really works great, for special needs too.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. And that's kind of my area of focus because my
Okay,
entire toy line is designed for kids with special needs with the
nice,
sensory toys, weighted toy that we design. So
absolutely,
I'm definitely really passionate about that particular topic. And for the toy, how do you ensure that your product always remain kind of on the cutting edge of the latest design? Do you like how do you make sure that is also remain not just cutting edge but also engaging for the kids of all ages?
yeah. So when I mentioned, our mission at E-Blox, I said, we design and develop fun educational
Yeah.
toys and products, and the fun always comes first. That's how we make sure kids are engaged, because if it's fun, then they're going to be engaged, and that's how they're going to learn the best.
Mhm.
I've always, people like a lot of times say, you don't want to have toys in schools. Well, actually, no, I think that's wrong. I think toys are great for schools, because toys are fun and intended to be fun. And when they're having fun, that's when they really get engaged and when they really learn. And so that's one of the things when you look at our stuff, it's like bubble machines, DJ sets, burp and
Mhm.
fart machines. Okay. I mean,
I didn't know you have that
oh,
one.
I didn't start with the education on that one. I started with the fun, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's important. Yeah.
exactly. And so that's definitely the key. And then, because I'm a kid at heart, I'm always going to be engaged in whatever the latest fun thing is and cutting edge things. I'm following that all the time and looking at how we can integrate it into our products here at E-Blox.
Yeah, that's the fun part about the toy industry. We are all playing and working at the same time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like to use my kids as our product tester when when we were
Right.
putting out new product and see
Oh,
if they will how fast they will break it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I've had tons of fun with our own stuff. I've built White Sox Park that all lights up. I've
Oh
built an
whoa.
8-foot Christmas tree. I've built the Endeavour space shuttle. I can't get enough of building
Oh whoa. Okay.
E-Blox.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, because I think your product have is so unique, and you can. That's almost just like Lego. You can make almost infinite
Right.
combination
Exactly.
of stuff. So yeah. So as we're kind of winding down in today's interview, the final question I like to ask all the guests is: if you had to share just one piece of advice with someone that's getting started in the toy industry, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say the main thing I would suggest is don't rush. Okay. If you have a good idea, a great idea, something you think you can really turn into something big, take the time to get trademarks, get patents, whatever you need to protect yourself. Make
Mhm.
sure that you've gotten safety approval. It's going to
Yeah.
be a safe toy to go out there. Make sure you try to cost reduce it as much as you can, but has high quality. If you're going to go and get your strategy, I mean, are you intended for just primarily schools? Are you going to go for retail? Are you going to go online, brick and mortar? Get your strategy in place. If you're going in retail for brick and mortar, packaging. Okay, make sure you get
Yeah.
packaging right.
Yeah.
Okay, get all of that worked out, because I know it's a cliche, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And when you get out there, if you get it right, then it could really explode and be something good. If you haven't taken the time to do all those things, then if you get, a reputation that's not selling through, it's not doing well, that's going to be hard to overcome. So my
Yeah.
advice is don't rush, take your time, get it right to launch the first time.
Yeah, and there's definitely a certain sequence of the item that you want to kind of make sure you go through the checklist, and that is that's up until the launch. But after the launch, you need to have a marketing plan. This is where I specialize in in
Absolutely.
marketing the product, so people
That
actually
too.
know your toys exist, which is a
Absolutely.
whole different ball game in itself. Like, how do we market it? Social
You're
media,
absolutely
are we?
right.
And also, I like how you mentioned retail is very different than online, because for my toys brand, traditionally for the past 7 years, we're 100% online. We do
Yeah.
zero retail,
Right.
and like I shared with you before the interview, is packaging is our worst enemy because we never spend time on packaging. Doesn't really matter to us as long as we can put the toys in the box and ship it out. We are fine.
Yes.
So yeah,
Uh,
but
for
for
our
retail, it doesn't work.
For
So
our retail, we continually update our packaging to make it better. We're on our third generation already, so
yeah, of
it's a
course, of course.
really
Yeah.
important thing.
Yeah, because that's the only thing they see in the retail
The
store
only
is the
thing they
packaging.
see. That's right.
Yeah, but online you'll see all the images, you'll see the videos, you'll see a whole bunch of other stuff. The last thing you will care is packaging usually in the online experience. So
That's
very
right.
different scenes, and of
Right.
course you want to cover all that. So thank you again for being on our podcast. Where can the audience find you?
Yeah. So we are E-Blox. You can find us on our website at www.myeblox.com. Okay. And you can find us in retail stores. Okay. We're in many of your local um, toy stores in your neighborhood. We're in Barnes and Noble. We're in Meyer. Several of the key accounts. and then of course on Amazon too.
Okay, wonderful. And I know you're also going to be in Nastra too, if any of the listeners
In St. Louis. So if you're a retailer, come visit us. Booth 2705.
Yeah, we have retailer that listen to our podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it was amazing to have you on the show and sharing all your experiences and the knowledge. I also learned a few things today during the interview, so I'm always learning from guests.
I appreciate you inviting me, and it's been a lot of fun talking to you. Thanks.
Same here. Thank you so much for being on.